I'm Brent Humphreys, joined by my co-host Gage Berdovich, and we are here at the Week 10 preview. Gage, the season is halfway over. How you doing, man?
God, it feels like we just started doing this, right? We're already on to the 10th week. What is going on? This is going by too fast. I'm doing great. Pitt football, not exactly so much. But Steelers had a bye week. Looking for a good week this week. Feeling good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I mean, you mentioned Pitt football getting their first loss of the season. It could be worse. You're still ranked. You still have a shot, an outside shot at the college football playoff. You could be a Kentucky Wildcat fan. That's all I'm going to say for football. It is not good right now in Kentucky Wildcat land.
Oh.
Uh, the Bengals got a win the other day,
Mhm.
much needed, and they'll head into a big matchup, which we'll get into here in a little bit tomorrow night against a little team that, called the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, not too bad.
Yeah, and good game for the Bengals. Burrow, I believe he tossed like 5 touchdowns, but like
Mhm.
nothing to Jamar. I think I don't know the stat line for sure, certain, but it was like 7.6 fantasy points. Like, how does Burrow go off like this and you only get less than double digits?
Mike Gesicki had a really big game for the Bengals. He had 100 yards receiving, his best game as a Bengal. Chase
Mm-hmm.
Brown in the running game got going. Uh, the first time all year that they've got going. I don't know if that is the Bengals finally getting things going on the running ground game or it's the Vegas Raiders that they were playing. I'm going to probably venture it's probably the Vegas Raiders, but you throw 5 touchdowns and Joe Burrow still wasn't happy after the game because he threw one pick six
Yeah.
and that's what he remembered from the game. So maybe frustrated, Burrow will come out ready to prove him wrong tomorrow against the Ravens. Let's hope.
I mean, I could see it being that way. I hope the Bengals win, but that pick six that he threw, it looked very similar. Jack Jones, the one that did it against Burrow this past week, he did it last year too. Screenplay and everything, just taking it to the house. No one even remotely close to catching him. That guy is awesome when it comes to picking off screenplays, and that's about it.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh, they were off this week, right?
Yes, they were. Nice
They're
little
bye
bye
week.
week. Yeah.
Right in the middle of the season, too. I mean, about when you would want it, right about the middle of the season.
I would say yes if the second half of our schedule didn't look the way that it does. I, I, I mean, 2 Baltimore games, 2 Cincy games, 2 Cleveland games. Why not? Let's just throw Washington, Philly, and Kansas City in there while we're at it. At that point, I'd rather have a bye week after like week 12 or 13. But we'll take it, get it out of the way, and probably be miserable for the back half of the football season.
Well, it's a good thing they got off to a hot start because that schedule does get brutal coming up. Uh, Yesterday was the trade deadline, and there was a few yesterday or maybe Monday. Might have been Monday. Monday was trade deadline. There was a few trades around the league. Marshawn Lattimore goes to the Commanders, uh,
Yeah.
helping out that secondary for the Commanders there.
Hey, gee, what team does the Commanders play this week? Yeah, the Steelers. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
That's all he needed was some help in the secondary for a team that's hot. Especially, I mean, they're hot on offense, but now they got a little bit of defense back there now to help them
Yeah,
out.
it's definitely something Washington needed. Their weak part was their defense. They allowed, I will say, it was the lowest yards per carry in the run game. A very low quarterback rating. They had Bobby Wagner, and that was about it. Adding Marshawn slides into that corner one spot, and all Washington had to give up was a third, a fourth, and a sixth. Not too bad for an all-pro corner.
Yeah, I think that's a really good deal for Washington. You know, they get a big name back there, and he gets out of New Orleans, which who also fired their head coach this week, Dennis Allen, fired by the Saints, the second coach to be fired this season in season. The first 2 weeks they look like, man, look at this team putting up all these points. Derek Carr's an MVP. And then, man, they haven't won a game since.
And I don't know what the problem is. I mean, Derek Carr, that you could tell the difference in that offense just with Derek Carr on there. Put up 22 points, unfortunately not able to get the win, but still the big difference, it's still not completely there. Poor Olave got hit with a hospital ball. Shaheed still don't have him, but all of these pieces come together, and I know they're sitting at 2-7, but they're a couple pieces away from being the team that they were at the beginning of the season. I'm surprised they didn't go out and make a real trade for any like receivers or anything like that. That surprised me, but I don't know. And for Dennis Allen to get fired, it's like you got fired after playing the Panthers. This either means you really suck as a head coach, or maybe the Panthers are kind of getting good. I don't know if it's an insult or a compliment to the Panthers, but yeah, you deserve to get fired if you lose to Carolina.
Interesting note about Dennis Allen. He was fired this year as a Saints head coach. He also was fired from when he was coach of the Oakland Raiders in 2014. And the quarterback at that point in time was a guy named Derek Carr. What a strange coincidence. Maybe not bring those two together, I don't know.
Yeah, very strange coincidence. And also, you got during the game, you go on Twitter, and who's going off? Michael Thomas. Going off about Derek Carr and his play. This is the same guy that has not played in the NFL due to a toe injury. You might not want to, really keep talking.
Yeah, you might want to set this one out there, Mikey.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So then another trade, the Cincinnati Bengals, it said, adds crucial running back depth. The Bengals traded his 2025 7th-round pick for running back Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears. Oh, man. So the Bengals have made – this is their third in-season trade in franchise history, and they go with Khalil Herbert. Man, okay, Zach Moss, he has a neck injury out for the season. I mean, it could be really bad, out there with a, broken neck, just all of a sudden coming up. You've got to do something. And the Bengals took the cheapest route possible by going out and getting Khalil Herbert, who isn't even, I don't even think he's a second string on the Bears at times. I don't understand the move at all.
The only thing I could say, what since he gave up a 7th rounder?
Yes.
So you give up a 7th rounder for a guy that, I mean, chances are Herbert's going to slide right into running back 2. He might share running back 1 just because Chase Brown is not that good. But before this season in Chicago, Khalil Herbert wasn't horrible. He's earned a rushing grade of 75 or better from 21 to 23. This season, only 8 rushing attempts. But it's hard when you have, DeAndre Swift, running back 1. Roschon Johnson, he was taking a lot of the goal line touches. There's really no room for him to slide in
Travis Homer.
Travis Homer. Oh, my God, I forgot about him. Sliding in there and taking a lot of the touches. I think it's a good move. One, for Khalil and his confidence. Get him onto a team where he is going to be used. And it's not bad for Cincinnati. It's basically, throw a dart at a board, see what sticks. You didn't really give up anything to get him. And if he turns out well, maybe Chase Brown, God forbid he gets hurt or something like that, Khalil can slide right in there. He might not be, a Saquon Barkley, but he'll be a serviceable back for you.
There's not too many guys that is a Saquon Barkley. You might have caught the little play he did the other day, just a simple little leap over somebody backwards.
Yeah. I mean, I do that every day. Just backwards jumping over people, it's fine.
Just walking down the street, just do it,
Yeah, playing backwards leapfrog with other people that you don't know. I don't know how Saquon did that. That still mind boggles me. I don't get it.
Did you see? So I know you're a Philly hater, but did you see the sideline after he done that? There was a video of the fans taking from the crowd, and it shows like the Philly sideline. They're all like, "There ain't no way!" Like, what just happened here? And I was like, "That's awesome right there." When they're amazed.
Yeah, when they're amazed, you know it's good.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the play live. I was driving at the time, but one of my friends who's a Philly fan, she texted me. She was like, "You're never gonna believe what Saquon just did." I'm like, "What? Score a touchdown? Like, woo!"
Yeah.
And then I look on Instagram, and it's the NFL account with the just big caption, "How?" And it's just him, whoop, backwards hurdle after a spin move on somebody. I'm like, cut this guy that got hurdled? I don't really know.
Yeah, and if you're a Giants fan, you got to be like, "Oh man, so we didn't want to pay that guy, huh?" Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The Minnesota Vikings, that's an old trade. That's last week's trade. Anyways, they got Cam Robinson and a 7th round pick for a 5th round pick from the Jags.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, they
really
needed the help.
Yeah, they needed help. Their offensive tackle got hurt, season ending. Why not go out and do that one?
Yeah, the Jags obviously aren't going anywhere this year, so why not?
Yeah.
The next one, the Pittsburgh Steelers receive linebacker Preston Smith for a 2025 7th round pick.
Whew.
What do you think about this? Your team here getting a much needed help over on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm not used to the Steelers making any in-season trades. So to have not just one, but two that we'll talk about here after a moment, but it was incredible. Steelers had depth on the edge, addition of Smith, and you got to figure Highsmith's been hurt a little bit this season. Nick Herbig's been hurt quite a bit this season. TJ Watt, you don't know. He's had an injury history, just like his brother JJ. So why not add that depth? You're only giving up a 7th rounder. Preston Smith requested a trade from Green Bay. They just happened to send him to Pittsburgh. I'll take it. Between 2021 and 2023, he's generated at least 40 pressures each season. I can't be mad at that. He hasn't had a great year this year, only 10 pressures and 171 snaps. I don't know if he was injured or what. That Packers seem like a great team when it comes to the defensive line, so maybe he just wasn't needed. Maybe they have other people. I'll be interested to see in this offseason what they do with his contract, though. He's owed, I think, $12.5 million for the next 2 seasons, but he is under that team control until I believe it's after 2026. I don't know. You got to restructure that contract, I would think, because there's no way you can pay your 4-string edge rusher that much money.
Yeah, I like the move for Pittsburgh. That helps them out. Like I said, I was surprised that Green Bay traded him, but if he requests a trade, I mean, he doesn't want to be there. Like you said, he hadn't had the best year so far, but maybe when he's in Pittsburgh, he's more motivated. He picks up that play. That's usually how these things go.
Yeah.
Another trade the Pittsburgh made this week, as you alluded to just a minute ago, they get wide receiver Mike Williams from the New York Jets. It doesn't show here what they gave up for that. Gage, what was it they gave up for that pick or for Mike Williams?
It was a 2025 5th-round draft pick. Again, I don't think it was horrible. Williams hasn't had a great year, but you're not going to have a great year when you're surrounded by other guys. Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, who already has that chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. He's a great contested ball guy. I saw a stat. I think it was like 54% of contested targets throughout his entire career he's caught. You add another big body receiver alongside George Pickens, alongside Pat Freiermuth. He's great in the blocking game for the running. And it's another guy that when your quarterback, his strength in his game is that moon ball, you throw it up to Pickens or to Mike Williams, chances are Williams is going to come down with it. Like I said, not a great season so far in Green Bay, but he hasn't had many opportunities. He dropped one ball a couple weeks ago. I think it was against Buffalo, that Aaron Rodgers was just like, all right, you're done. Bye.
Yeah.
And then, got Saleh fired. getting Mike Williams traded. I think it worked out all around. It seemed like a very fair trade. Mike Williams for a 5th rounder. I'm not mad at that at all. I'm actually very pleased with that one.
Yeah, Mike Williams, he's usually, I hate to say this because I know your fantasy football luck. He usually ends the season on the injured list on IR. But if he can stay healthy and he can get involved a little bit, which, I think he'll get more involved with Pittsburgh than he was New York, it's going to be a pretty good trade. And I think Pittsburgh will win that trade there because, if they can put him to use out there with Pickens, hey, not too bad over there on that offensive side now.
Oh, yeah.
With
Absolutely.
them two and Najee, and Russ keeps playing the way he has. Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah. Not bad at all. You mentioned my fantasy football luck. Get to my favorite segment of the week each week.
Oh, here we go. Which players are injured from Gage's fantasy team?
Yeah, well, we got 3 new additions this week, but we'll get to that after a little bit. Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens made a trade for cornerback Tre'Davious White and a 2027 7th-round pick from the Rams for a 2026 7th-round pick. They're trying to get a little help in the defensive backfield, but Tre'Davious White has not been that great this year.
He's not been that great, but he is an all-around Pro Bowler corner. I don't know how I feel about this one. White started the first 4 games of the season, earning not a bad grade, but not a great grade, according to Pro Football Focus. Allowed 4 touchdowns. The Ravens have dealt with a bunch of injuries in their defensive back position the first half of the football season. So why not add that depth? You try to see if he can regain some of his early career form. Not bad for the Ravens. I'm surprised they only gave up a 7th round and got a next, or what was it? It'd be a 27 next year
27.
round. Mm-hmm. It's very, very odd. 26, 27. We haven't even made it to the 25 draft yet, so I really don't know what's going on over here.
Yeah, I don't either. And I guess maybe he'll suit up tomorrow when they play the Bengals. So we'll see, if he's the way he was, or Jameson Williams torched him the first week, or or what, or if he's back to his old self. But maybe we'll find out soon enough. The Dallas Cowboys receive wide receiver Jonathan Mingo in a 2025 7th-round pick for a 4th-round pick next year. I don't know about that one.
This is one of the very few times I think the Panthers won. And my God, they won twice in a week? What's going on? You're getting a 4th-round pick for a guy that he struggled to make an impact in the NFL. Cowboys, they're betting on the potential that Mingo has. He was a 2nd-round pick and just has not done anything in Carolina. He's averaged less than 1 yard per route run in each of his first 2 seasons. And you're giving up a 4th-round pick for this guy. Maybe Cooper Rush can do something with the Cowboys now that Dak's going to be out for a little bit. I don't know. Horrible trade, in my opinion, on the Cowboys side. I think the Panthers actually made out on this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know why the Cowboys are trading for wide receivers at this point in the season. I'm pretty sure their season is over with.
Oh, yeah.
But why not just go on and take a gamble and see if the guy pays off in the long term, I guess. Why not?
I guess, and he's going to be cheap contract-wise, so why not?
Yeah, why not? Maybe. But I'm with you. I think a 4th-round pick there, Carolina probably won that one.
Oh, yeah.
One of the bigger trades here, the Detroit Lions get Zadarius Smith and a 2026 7th-round pick from Cleveland. Cleveland gets a 2025 5th-round pick and a 2026 6th-round pick. Gage, they're trying to replace Aiden Hutchinson over there. He's obviously not Aiden Hutchinson, but what do you think about this one here?
If you're going to go out and replace Aiden Hutchinson, I think they did the best possible thing they could have done. You're giving up late draft picks over the next 2 years. And the Lions, they are a Super Bowl contender. No doubt about it. But they're in desperate need of that pass rusher since Hutchinson's season-ending injury, and Zadarius Smith, huge upgrade for them coming off the edge. He ranks top, I would say it was like mid 20s at his position this season. Significantly better, in my opinion, than every other edge defender on that Lions roster. He's going to make a great impact. The Browns, Zadarius Smith didn't do much this season, so you got what you could for him. But the Browns browned it. I think the Lions won that one. And, if Hutch somehow comes back, Lions make a deep run in the playoffs and he comes back for like the championship game or something, you have Zadarius Smith and Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edges. That's going to be a scary duo to try and tackle.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And whenever Hutchinson went down, we kind of threw out a few names on this podcast. Hey, if you're the Lions, you go out and you make a phone call to certain teams. One of the teams we mentioned was the Browns. Now, we got the player wrong. We said Myles Garrett, but hey, I'll still take credit for that. We didn't mention the Browns.
Oh yeah, we'll take credit for that, but I think they got the wrong player. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think so too. But overall, I think it's a good deal for Detroit. There, it's definitely going to help them out. And Cleveland's done too. They're done too. So that's basically most of the trades that hit the deadline. Gage, your fantasy update here about your injuries.
So, favorite segment of the show. I think I'm going to call this segment "Who Died on Gage's Fantasy Team," because starting out, I did not know that these two players were going to be out until Sunday at around noon when I got the Bleacher Report notification that Washington running back Brian Robinson was going to be out, and that wide receiver for the Bills, Amari Cooper, was going to be out. Now, those two, I was able to get replacements for them. I went, picked up Josh Downs. That actually worked out pretty well. And I picked up Cedric Tillman. Both not bad. However, the big one, I already mentioned his name, Dak Prescott. Thanks, buddy. Thanks. Out probably the whole season with a torn hamstring. I really appreciate it. In the Superflex League that I only have 2 quarterbacks in. Thank you.
If you look on ESPN for an update, the very first headline on there, it says Dak tore his hammy off the bone. And that's the exact headline right there. So hammy is off the bone. Prescott out. Probably for the season, like you said.
I don't want to know what's going to happen next week. I don't want to know what quarterback I'm going to lose, what wide receiver I'm going to lose. Maybe Cordell Patterson comes back and gets his head blown off. I don't know. Or maybe, I have Russell Wilson. I'm very scared to see what happens here. I don't know. I'm scared. Check back in next week for who died on Gage's team.
Yeah, and like I said, man, let me know who you've got so I will not put a bet in on them. In the chat here, they asked, do you think Joe Burrow will get 2 passing touchdowns? Yes, I think he'll get 3 tomorrow. The first game between the Bengals and the Ravens was an offensive dream. Mm-hmm. Those defenses still hasn't gotten much better, and those offenses have. So I look for it to be another shootout, even on a short week. So, yeah, I think that he'll get 2 to 3 touchdowns tomorrow. That's what I think.
Yeah, I absolutely do think so. The addition of Trey White, I don't think it's going to add much defensive value to it. The only thing with the Bengals, T. Higgins, probably out again, but obviously
he's going to be out.
Obviously, that doesn't matter. You could throw multiple touchdowns to Gesicki. You still got Jamar. I don't know what the betting line is for passing touchdowns for Burrow, but if it's like that 2.5 mark, I'm hammering you over on that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, last game was fun. And before we start talking about that game and getting deep into it real quick here, last week on this here podcast, Gage, you went 10-5, bringing your overall record to 86-45, and I went 11-4, bringing mine to 79-52.
I gotta say, last week my upset pick of the week, a walk-off field goal away from winning. Miami almost took down Buffalo. I was so upset. They had the lead and then just squandered it. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So I remember you were like, so I see you're not going with me on my upset special, and I'm like, nope. And I was like, oh, look at that. Would you look at that?
I was so hoping. I was so excited. I saw they were up. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to win. I'm going to have bragging rights this week. And then, no.
Just didn't happen. Maybe next time. Uh, but so far, I mean, we're doing improving every week. Like, there's no more 500s between these picks. We're over 500.
Over 500 each week. Over 500 for the season. What? 86, 45, 40 games over 500 for the season. I would have to implode to have a horrible record at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting in the second half here of the season, but it would have to be just missing every week just about in order to finish under 500. And I don't think that's going to happen. No. So we get going into our picks this week, and we start with the Thursday night football game, 8:15 on Prime Video. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is a 6-point favorite. The over-under is 52.5. Hammer that one.
Oh, yeah.
Gage, what do you think about this game?
I think it's going to be a good game. Like, we've talked about it before. AFC North matchups are always great games. Unless it's a Cleveland game, in which case, well, you expect them to lose, get blown out pretty bad. The Ravens, their offense, firing on all cylinders. Derrick Henry, over 1,000 rushing yards, on pace to break the record for rushing yards and rushing touchdowns in a season. Lamar Jackson, playing probably his best season of football he's played in his career. And that's coming off an MVP season. On the other hand, the Bengals, you got Joe Burrow, 5 touchdowns. Mike Gesicki, 2 touchdowns last game. You added, Khalil Herbert, trying to help that run game out. You still got Jamar. You're without T. A guy that's really surprised me on the offense this year for the Bengals is Yoshi Vash. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yes, Yoshi Vash.
He's just come alive. Not really getting a lot of yards, but you can always depend on him to at least be looked at in the red zone. It's going to be a good game. Neither team has a defense, so I think it's going to come down to the end. My heart is telling me to pick one way. My gut is telling me to pick the other. And I don't know what to do. I'm just because I want the Ravens to lose, I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. I'm going to take them. I think they cover, obviously being the underdogs. It's just going to be a shootout. There's no real telling who's going to win this game. Give me the Bengals on this.
This game right here is big for the Bengals season. This is huge. I mean, they're one game under. They win. If you win this game, you're still right in the thick of things. Even if you lose, you are, but you don't feel good about it because you haven't really beaten a team this year that is, great or decent. You've lost to a team before that's not really that good, and the Patriots to begin the season, which is a horrible loss for them. But the Bengals, like Zach Moss, he's out for the season. You go get Herbert to replace him, which is they're probably about on the same level. If we're honest, and then Eric All, the backup tight end, he's out for the season as well. He had really come on a lot. He was catching all of the passes thrown his way. Joe Burrow's looked good the last few weeks here. I mean, if he's healthy, stays healthy, he played good. Like you said, Chase didn't play that well last week, and it showed. And I think Chase was kind of mad at himself, that he didn't play as well. Hopefully he was mad at himself. T. Higgins out again. What a shock. Why would you play in a contract year, right? And on the other side, the Ravens a couple weeks ago lost to the Browns, in a shocking game, a shocking loss, but it was a divisional game. They come back last week and, they played pretty well. Lamar didn't rush the ball around a whole lot. He only had 15 yards?
Something like that. It wasn't the normal that we're used to.
Yeah, the lowest he's had is like 40, I believe, all season until then. Uh, Derrick Henry is still, what do you say about that guy, right? I mean, 250
He's
pounds, runs like that still.
yeah.
With that being said, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. Like I said, give me the over in this one. I also like the Bengals. I like the Bengals to win an upset here. I know Lamar has only lost to him one time in his career, but I think this is going to be number 2 right here. Last year on Thursday night, Joe Burrow and the Bengals were headed towards, they had a lead on them, and then Burrow's hand issue happened. And then that was the end of the season for Joe Burrow. Let's hope that doesn't happen on this Thursday night football game. Give me the Bengals. Give me the Bengals to cover. Give me the over in this one. This is going to be a fun offensive matchup. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be exciting. And we may have the game of the week right here on Thursday. I don't know. This may be the best Thursday night game of the week. I may be overreacting, maybe a homer, whatever, but it could be.
Yeah. Compared to the other Thursday night primetime games that there've been this year, it's not that hard to beat them. I think this absolutely does.
Maybe the Falcons and Buccaneers, maybe that game might be Thursday, because that was a good game. I believe that's the one Kirk Cousins threw for 509 yards. High scoring game. That one was decent, but this one I think might top it. We'll see.
And you talked about Lamar's rushing last week. 3 attempts for 4 yards. So didn't even get double digits. But he did have a perfect passer rating, 158.3. So it's kind of you give some, you get some.
Yeah, let's just hope he doesn't have a perfect passer rating this week. Then we go to, I said the game of the week, I may have spoken too soon, because at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, the New York Giants travel to Munich, Germany to face the Carolina Panthers in the NFL Munich game. The Giants are a 6.5 point favorite in this one. Gage, which way you leaning in this one, in the Germany game? I mean, Germany, we're going to give you some of our best of the best in our sport right here, Germany. Here you go. Giants, Panthers.
Is anyone going to be watching this game outside of Germany? If you live anywhere else, are you going to be watching this? I know I'm not. I'm not waking up that early to turn on Red Zone or the Sunday Ticket and be like, oh, Giants, Panthers? Heck yeah, click. No, not happening. Panthers coming off a win. It might be the last one they get all season. Give me the Giants. Tyrone Tracy, Malik Neighbors, Daniel Jones. There's not much to say. The Panthers are coming off a win against a not so good Saints team. Fired their head coach because of it. Yeah, not much to say. They don't have Jonathan Mingo anymore. Their number one receiver was Leggett and Thielen. Chuba Hubbard still playing good. Jonathan Brooks, though, is supposed to be activated to play this week. I don't know if he'll get much. You're traveling over to Germany. How much practice time is he actually going to get? I don't know. Give me the Giants. Give me the points. And let me go back to bed.
Oh, man. So, this is the game that we're sending overseas here for Germany. This is the best we can do for you guys. Oh, it's too early in the morning for this kind of football. Bad football is what it's going to be. I like the Giants in this one as well. Like you said, there's not much to say. Brooks, he was supposed to play last week. I don't think he got in and played. Hubbard, Chuba Hubbard. He was on the market maybe, if some certain team could have used a running back. Maybe they could have give up something for a certain running back. I don't know. Is Bryce Young playing this week, or is Andy Dalton starting? Do we know? Does it matter? I don't think it does. The Giants, like you said, they got Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors, Tracy, the running back. He's played really well lately. He really has. Give me the Giants in this one. I like the Giants to win this one. Give me the Giants to cover. 6.5 points favorites when you're both 2-7. Whatever. Give me the cover. Yeah. That's what else can we say about this game? but let's move on.
Please.
Weekend, the 1:00 games. The New England Patriots travel to Chicago to face the Chicago Bears. Chicago's a 6.5-point favorite. Gage, Chicago has kind of been reeling since that Hail Mary. What do you think about this?
They've been kind of on their heels a little bit recently, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know really what to expect out of this game because you never know. Drake May pulled off some magic last week in order to force the game against Tennessee to overtime. They ended up losing, but they still scored 27. Tennessee's defense isn't that good. And I thought that the Patriots' defense was a lot better than they showed last week. It's against Caleb Williams. He's been having a pretty good season. He's cooled off recently in recent weeks, but they still got Swift in the backfield. He's been doing great. Roma Dunze, he's been getting a lot more action as of late, along with Keenan Allen. And it seems weird to say that the oddball out in that group is DJ Moore. They got him involved a lot last year. Granted, he was like the only weapon besides Cole Kmet, but it's just weird. Now, maybe it's, the fantasy team luck because, gee, who has DJ Moore in their fantasy team? But I don't really know what's going on, but I don't think it's really going to matter this week. Give me the Bears. Give me the points. And I don't know. I just can't trust the Patriots to really do anything yet.
No, and like you said, Drake May pulled off some magic last week. That to get him just to go to overtime there.
Mm-hmm.
Great play. He's played pretty good since he's come in. He's not been bad. Like, why wasn't he starting the beginning of the season? Like, did you really think Jacoby Brissett was the better option at that point in time? Like, okay. The Bears, on the other hand, like the Hail Mary, like Stevenson, like I heard he took himself out of practice like earlier in the week. Like, he's like, yeah, I don't want to play in practice. Dude, you don't even finish games. What are you talking about? You don't want to play in practice. Why do we still have you on this team? Then they go to Arizona, and like I thought for sure, like Call of Duty was out, and Kyler Murray was just going to like not do anything. And the Bears just got beat down. Like it wasn't really even that close. But this week they're playing the Patriots. They're at home. I like the Bears to bounce back finally from the Hail Mary. And give me the Bears to win this one. And I think the Bears cover this one too. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit better than the Germany game. Maybe.
God, I hope so.
The next matchup, the Buffalo Bills travel to Indianapolis to face the Indianapolis Colts. Buffalo is a 4-point favorite. Gage, who you got in this one here?
Yeah, Joe Flacco last week, Sunday Night Football against the Vikings. He went out there, he laid a goose egg. And it's still, he looked like what we all expect out of Flacco.
Yeah.
He definitely seems like the type that he can't really start a lot. But if he comes in off the bench, knowing that he has a job to play for, he's going to light it up. But Steichen already said, Flacco's for the rest of the season. So what's he have to lose? Not much. Buffalo's just too good. Hopefully they get Amari Cooper back for their sake, for my sake, for everybody's sake. Give me the Bills in this one. Give me the points.
Yeah, the Colts last week, like you said, goose egg from Flacco. Flacco looked like we thought Flacco would look like old. Yeah. He, wasn't the same quarterback he was last year against the Browns. Like, we thought Flacco was going to play. He's going to be just Flacco, It's going to be all good. And then, no, wasn't good at all. The Bills, on the other hand, they've looked pretty good. They've played pretty good. Yeah. Shakir, he gets a bunch of targets every week. There was a couple weeks, though, he didn't get a whole lot of targets, but since Cooper's come over, he's gotten more targets since Cooper's coming over, I believe. So I thought, that'd be a little bit different. I like Buffalo in this one as well. I think Buffalo wins. I think that they cover. Josh Allen's playing great, and I think he'll continue that against Indianapolis this week. Give me the Bills. And we have not disagreed yet, I don't think.
No, but it might be coming up here just soon enough.
Oh, upset special coming right here. 1 o'clock game. Why? This is a 1 o'clock game for an AFC West matchup. This is different. The Denver Broncos travel to Kansas City to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City's an 8-point favorite. Gage, last week the Broncos got beat down by the Ravens. Think there's any shot they could bounce back in Arrowhead?
It wouldn't surprise me. Bo Nix, we've talked about it last week. He hasn't been playing bad after the first couple games this season. He's turned into, pretty good quarterback. I believe he's still leading all the rookie quarterbacks in total touchdowns. So that's actually pretty impressive compared to, the people he's going up against. The Chiefs, they've been getting Kelsey involved the last 2 weeks. Last week, 14 for 100. The week beforehand, the week beforehand, I think was like 10 for 90 and a touch. The only thing that scares me is I have Kelsey in fantasy and I have Mahomes in fantasy. I don't know about this one, but neither of them have been, knock on wood, neither of them have gotten hurt yet. And they got DeAndre Hopkins going last week. He had a remember the Titans touchdown celebration. It was incredible. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. But AFC West divisional game, they always play close in these games. I'm going to take the Broncos to cover.
Oh, nice. I actually like that a lot. Denver, like I said, they got beat down last week. Wasn't really that close. The Chiefs the other day winning in overtime, which we knew as soon as you kick for the tie and you go to overtime, if the Chiefs win that toss, and even Baker knew it, as soon as that was against them, he was like, it's over. And it was over. That you're not getting the ball back. There's no opportunity. You're not getting it. Chiefs going to score, and they did. And Mahomes, you said that you've had him on your fantasy team. He did. He did get helped off the field.
He did, but he came like right back. So I didn't know what that was about.
Yeah, I don't know with him sometimes. Like they said, he's got a high ankle sprain. He comes out and he rushes for like 60 yards. Like later on, I'm like, what happened to that high ankle sprain? Like, come on, man. Anyways, it's a divisional matchup. I think Denver will put up a better fight than they did last week for sure. But ultimately, I don't think. I mean, I can't pick against the Chiefs right now. I mean, you just can't pick against them right now until they prove otherwise. Give me the Chiefs in this one, but give me a Denver cover in an AFC West rivalry matchup. It's going to be close, but
man, we have agreed on every little aspect so far. This is crazy.
We have, but there's a lot of ball to go here. The next matchup, the Atlanta Falcons travel to New Orleans to face the New Orleans Saints. Atlanta's a 3.5-point favorite. The Saints have a new head honcho. Gage, what do you think about this NFC South matchup?
This is going to depend on what Kirk Cousins decides to show up. Is it going to be the Kirk Cousins that threw for 509 yards? Or is it going to be the Kirk Cousins that we saw in week 1 that he couldn't move the ball like at all? It's also going to depend. Is Bijan going to be around? Is Kyle Pitts going to, have a good game after his atrocious showing last week? And the Saints, is Derek Carr going to get more of his receivers killed? They lost another guy that I'd even talk about with another guy I'd even talk about with my fantasy thing, Bub Means. He's on IR. So that's another receiver lost. Chris Olave. Is Olave playing this week? I doubt it.
No,
but
he's not.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm surprised it's only 3.5. Give me the Falcons. Give me the points. They got Kamara, but that's about it.
Yeah, they're kind of decimated right now with injuries. The Falcons, 1 week they'll look really good, and then 1 week they'll lose to the Seahawks by 20 at home. Like you said, it all depends on which Kirk Cousins shows up in this game. The Saints coming off, of course, firing their coach. And teams usually play motivated after their coach gets fired, right?
Yeah.
Usually. Give me the Saints in this one as a home upset. This will be my underdog pick of the week right here. Everybody's saying, hey, they don't have anybody. They've only got Kamara. Kamara hasn't done anything lately. Kamara's going to have a big game in this one, I believe. Give me the Saints here and to rally around their brand new coach and to pull off the upset, and we get Kirk Cousins. We get bad Kirk this week. Rolling with the Saints, and we have disagreed.
Wow. I think it's just because I said, "Oh, we haven't disagreed yet," and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna change that."
Here we go, right now. The next 1 o'clock matchup, the San Francisco 49ers travel to Tampa Bay to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. San Francisco is a 6.5-point favorite. Gage, the Niners coming off of a bye, and the Buccaneers coming off of that overtime loss. What do you think about this one?
Definitely some different weeks each team's coming off of. My big question for this game is one, is Christian McCaffrey coming back for the game? And two, what will his role be? We talked about it earlier in the season. Oh, they shouldn't activate him, until the last 2 weeks, get him a little, get that rust off. I'm surprised they're doing it now. I understand why. Jordan Mason, Isaac Garunda, the past couple weeks have been very shaky, but just doing it this early, it scares me. It scares me a lot. And neither team, I guess you could say the Buccaneers have been better than the Niners this season, but the Bucks, they're lost right now. No Evans, no Godwin. The running backs have been the top targets along with Cade Otton for Baker, which is weird. Rashad White, running back one, has like less than 300 yards on the ground and no touchdowns rushing wise. So I really don't know what's going on. I'm going to take the Niners in this one. Give me the Niners. Give me the points, especially if McCaffrey comes back. I think it's going to be an even more of a blowout.
Yeah, like we was talking, McCaffrey, it's a little early for him to come back. Save him for later on in the season if you're going to bring him back. Tampa Bay, they're decimated with injuries. Evans, Godwin. Like you said, targets. Sterling Shepard had a few good catches on that last drive that led to a touchdown. He's still hanging around. I'm not picking the Niners. Or I'm not picking the Bucks. I'm rolling with the Niners in this one. I think that they win. I think that they cover. Give me the Niners for sure in this one, even at Tampa Bay. They're coming off of a bye. Like you said, if McCaffrey plays a lot, it's going to be a lot more than that. I don't know if he will. He's probably going to be on a snap count for sure. But then again, Puka, when he was on a snap count, caught like 12 passes. So, it all depends on what kind of snap count we're on here. But give me the Niners to win this one for sure. The next 1 o'clock matchup, the Minnesota Vikings travel to Jacksonville to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Minnesota is a 4-point favorite in this one. Gage, are we feeling an upset here?
It's funny you mentioned that. You've used your upset pick of the week. I have not. And this is going to be the game that we use it on. The Jaguars, they're coming off a pretty good game against Philly. I got to give it to Trevor Lawrence. Even though, Saquon with that backwards hurdle still ended up being a good game. Vikings, on the other hand, they had a tough time against the Colts. They should have just absolutely demolished them. But the game started out 7-0 in favor of the Colts, thanks to, I believe it was it a pick six or a fumble recovery touchdown, something along those lines. Yep. Either way, Sam Darnold just doing old Sam Darnold stuff. I'm going to take the Jaguars. Ghost. Yeah, he's seeing ghosts out there. I'm going to take the Jaguars. Upset pick of the week. Give me the Jaguars. Give me the underdogs. And, of course, with that, they cover.
Yeah, you mentioned last week the Jaguars playing Philly pretty close, but they got down really big to begin with. If they didn't put themselves in such a big of a hole, maybe that's a different game. Maybe if they weren't playing Nick Sirianni, who makes some questionable decisions all the time, but the Vikings, like you said, they struggled a little bit last week with the Colts, but ultimately they come up winning. They don't look the same as they did at the beginning of the year, but they've got Hawkinson back. I think he's going to play a little bit bigger of a role. Aaron Jones really didn't get going running a whole lot last week. Justin Jefferson did Justin Jefferson things. I like the Vikings in this one here to win this one and to continue their winning ways with just 2 losses. So give me the Vikings. No upset on this one. Sorry, Gage.
Hey, I didn't agree with yours. You didn't agree with me. We're both even again.
There we go. And when we come back here and list the ones we missed next week, we'll be like, oh well, it is what it is. The last 1:00 matchup for the week, the Pittsburgh Steelers, coming off of a bye, travel to Washington to face the Washington Commanders, who are a 3-point favorite. Gage, how you feel about your Steelers?
I'm actually feeling really good. If this was Justin Fields playing, I don't think I'd feel as good. Russ has brought a new life to this team that has been not seen since Big Ben back in 2016. There's a couple things that I'm worried about. Off a bye week over the last, we'll go with the last decade. The Steelers have a losing record after the bye week, which, shocker. But against rookie quarterbacks in Mike Tomlin's career, was he like 24-6 or something like that? Maybe I'm a homer. This might be also game of the week, or if not game of the week, maybe game of the day. I'm going to go with the Steelers. The offenses for both of these teams, really good right now. Steelers 26 plus in 3 consecutive games, points-wise. The Commanders, on the other hand, last week, over 120 total rushing yards on the ground. And this is going against a Steelers defense that allowed 140 plus to Tyrone Tracy in their last time out. Passing wise, Steelers, I know it looked like they got dominated defensive wise against the Giants in their passing game. Washington did the same thing last week. They allowed Daniel Jones, I think it was 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, and they are ranked, I believe it's like 32nd, so last in the league in passer rating. They're allowing, I believe it's 5.1 yards per carry to running backs. And this is going against Najee, that's had 3 consecutive 100-plus yard games. I think it's going to be a shootout. I just think that the deciding factor is going to be that Steelers defense. They're going against a tough offensive line. Jane Daniels didn't take any sacks last week. Jane Daniels also didn't play his best last week. So I'm going to take the Steelers off the bye week against a rookie quarterback. Give me the Steelers underdogs so they cover. I think it's going to be a good game now. I'm actually excited for this one, and this is going to set the tone for the rest of the season.
I think this is going to be a good game as well. I think that this is going to be the main matchup in this is going to be that Washington offense against that Pittsburgh defense. They haven't faced that elite of a defense all season.
No.
Jaden Daniels, how's he going to fare, against an elite NFL defense? I don't know. With running that college offense, that they've been running all year, just don't tell them to run the college offense before the game because that really, they got to them there. Austin Eckler, coming out of the backfield, catching passes, running, looking like he was with the Chargers a little bit, coming on that way a little bit, like not as much as he was with the Chargers because he's not asked to do as much, but, he still has got it. Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels, they hook up quite a bit, like it's his favorite target. And Jaden Daniels knows right when to take off and scramble.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, on the other hand, there's a guy over on the other side right there that if I'm Washington, I put more than my left tackle over there to block this guy. Maybe put a tight end to chip him, but don't put a tight end on him one-on-one. And I wouldn't even put the left tackle one-on-one, especially in the second half. If you notice in that second half, like just watch the last 2 games and just see, like, does nobody pay attention here? What is going on? That TJ Watt's right there, guys. But I think that's going to be the key matchup to this. Washington doesn't have a great defense, and Pittsburgh's offense looked pretty good under Russ. But I think that I'm going to have to roll with the Commanders.
And I'm leaving this call. All right, everyone, have a good night. Goodbye.
Give me the Commanders on this one. I think that they will win this game. Like you said, Pittsburgh's coming off of a bye. I mean, I get it. All that, 26 and 24 and 6 against rookie quarterbacks. All that good stuff. It's going to be a great game. I think it's going to turn into a shootout. I think Jaden Daniels will get to where they can score on the Pittsburgh defense. I think Russ is probably going to make a critical turnover in this game, and that's going to be the difference.
All right. Well, at least I went with Cincinnati this week.
There have been several times this week, sir, where you have not. Just saying.
All right. Fair enough. You got me.
It's all good. It's all good. Talking about all good, we head to the 4:00 matchups, and the Tennessee Titans travel to Los Angeles to face the LA Chargers. The Chargers are a 7.5-point favorite, and they've looked pretty good here lately, Gage. Who you got in this? Do you like the Road Dogs?
This is another sneaky one that I think is going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be a great game by any sorts of imagination. I think it's going to be a good game. Mason Rudolph, not too bad of a showing last week, but Ladd McConkey for the Chargers last game, just going off. Can they do that multiple games in a row, though? It's hard to know. I don't know. I feel like Charger fans are going to be disappointed after this game. The Mason Rudolph to Calvin Ridley connection has actually been pretty well in the several games that they've both played in. I'm going to take the Titans on this one. I think, between the run and a little bit of the passing game they got going, their defense, not horrible, but not, outstanding at all. Give me the Titans. Give me the points in this one. I think it's actually going to be a good game to keep watch, at least on the ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, the Titans have looked different since Mason Rudolph's taken over for Will Levis. It's amazing what one quarterback change can do for a team. I mean, they're still not winning a whole lot under him, but they look more competitive. Will Levis is going to make an amazing interception. But, that's about all he was doing. The Chargers, on the other hand, they'll get out. They'll run, they'll get up to a lead here. J.K. Dobbins. Like you said, Ladd McConkey's been tearing it up. But they get a lead, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, we don't care we got Justin Herbert. We don't care Ladd McConkey's catching passes. We're taking the air out of the ball, and we're playing hardball ball.
Yep.
We're going to run it. We're going to be methodical, and we're going to try to kill clock. I think they do it again this week at home. I think the momentum continues. Give me the Chargers in this one. And what was it? A 5.5? Give me a Titans cover, though. Give me a Titans cover. But I think it's going to be close, low scoring. But I like the Chargers in this one. I think the Chargers are probably going to make the playoffs this year. The next matchup, 4:25, the New York Jets travel to Phoenix or Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals. And it says here, Arizona off is the spread. I don't know what that means. Gage, what do you think about this one?
You want to know what I think? What is an off spread? Hold on. What is an off spread?
I've seen even.
It just means that there is no official point spread set for the game. So you want to bet on it? Yeah, you can't just take the spread for whatever reason. All right,
just money
cool.
line.
Okay. I guess they just don't know, what Call of Duty's been doing right now to Kyler. Last week, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, that connection was on fire. Garrett Wilson's 2 touchdowns were both one-handed grabs, and the second one was way better than the first one.
The jump man.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it. Probably better than the Odell catch when he was on the Giants.
Yes.
Maybe controversial, but just the opinions of the podcast. Do they keep that connection? Kyler didn't have a good week last week. They blew out Chicago, but it was mainly on the ground. Amari DeMarcado and James Conner really got it going for them. They're going to need to get that passing game going this week if they want to beat the Jets. I don't think they're going to be able to. I think the Jets are going to keep rolling. So give me the Jets in this one. Give me the points that aren't available. Yeah, give me the Jets as, road people.
So, like I have said here last week when I picked against the Cardinals, Call of Duty's going to creep up into Kyler Murray's playbook time. I guarantee it. And it's going to happen this week, I think. They're at home. The Jets got to travel all the way over there. I get all that. But the Jets are, have a little bit of a break. Devontae Adams last week, he finally got going. Now, maybe it was all on that last play of the game, that last touchdown. But he, all you got to do is see one go through the hoop, right? That's what they say in basketball. He saw one go through right there. He had 90-some yards finally. And what else, like you said, what else can you say about Garrett Wilson? Like, how does he catch that? How is that a catch? Like, the shin comes down first before the knee, and I'm like, that is a catch then. That technically is a catch right there. As we talked last week, though, with George Pickens, he got 2 feet down. Okay, it's the same one, but he still got 2 down. So, like, they need to, like, review some of these right here. And, because, that one there, I mean, great catch by Garrett Wilson, but, if that's a catch, Pickens should have been a catch as well, right? I mean, it should have. But the Jets have gotten bringing up bad memories here. The Jets, I think, have gotten something going here. Breece Hall out of the backfield. He didn't play the best last week. What a slow start to that game as well. But they got it going in the second half for sure. I think they'll get it going earlier in this one. I like the Jets in this one as well against the Cardinals. And I like them to cover the spread that is not there. Give me the Jets.
Yeah, you talk about the Pickens catch compared to the Wilson catch. I know the rule says 1 foot and one other body part, but 2 foot should equal 2 feet.
Yes, it definitely should.
Two same foot should equal 2 feet. Like, I don't know.
I've got a feeling this offseason that is going to be addressed. It has to be after that.
I hope so.
I mean, that's amazing just to get your same foot down twice.
Yeah. That's more impressive than actually making the catch.
Yeah. Oh, the last 425 matchup, which looked probably good at the beginning of the season. The Philadelphia Eagles traveled to Dallas to face those Dallas Cowboys. Philly is a 7-point favorite. Gage, I know your hate for Philly, but do you like them in this one?
Unfortunately, I do. If you look at Cooper Rush, he's played in 30 games throughout his career. However, he's only started 6 of them. In those 6 games he started, he's a 5-1 quarterback record. Now, stats-wise, otherwise, 1,780 yards, 9 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Not the best stats, but every time that Cooper Rush has started and CeeDee Lamb has played, CeeDee's gone over 70 yards and had a touchdown in almost every single game. That's not something that he's had with Dak this year. And me saying this is just me trying to convince myself to pick the Cowboys, and it's not going to happen. I think Philly's just too good for them. Cooper Rush, I mean, you hear the name, you go, who? I'm surprised it's kind of Cooper Rush and not Trey Lance. I kind of thought maybe they would give Trey a chance, but effectively not. He'll probably be Rush's backup, but I don't see any way that Philly loses this game. Give me the Eagles. Man, I don't know. What was the spread? 7?
7.
Give me the Eagles, but I'll take the Cowboys to cover.
Well, the Eagles, since they've played Cincinnati, they kind of struggled at the beginning of the season. They haven't been the same Eagles as they was last year, right? This year, the last few games since they've played the Bengals, they have looked great and have been playing great. Had a great lead last week against the Jaguars. About blew it at the end, but you still got to be good enough to get up by that much, right?
Yeah.
Saquon's looking awesome. AJ Brown went out last week with an injury. I don't know if he's expected to play or not this week. Don't think it really matters. Devonta Smith had a crazy catch last week that was good, but Garrett Wilson kind of overshadowed all those catches last week. But the Cowboys, on the other hand, man, they Dak is out. Cooper Rush, you said dare I say, great value Andy Dalton, huh? Redhead, what are we saying? Man, they don't have a running game at all over there still. It doesn't matter if it's Dak, doesn't matter if it's Cooper Rush. They're going to want to throw the ball a lot because they cannot run. I mean, they just don't have the running game to run. Dalvin Cook, he's done, I think. Elliott, he's done. Rico Dowdle, I mean, he's a running back. Out of all of them, he's one of them. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one, man. I think that the Eagles will win. Even though it's in Dallas, I like them to win and to cover the 7-point spread. I like the Eagles big over the rivals here. So another bad week for Cowboys fans.
Yeah. A.J. Brown on top of it, limited at practice today, but he was back, so that's trending in the right direction for them.
Well, that'll be good. I mean, if he plays, I definitely like him to hammer the over on that one. Or to hammer the up. The Detroit Lions travel to Houston to face the Houston Texans. Detroit is a 3.5-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one here?
I mean, I got to take Detroit, right? They've been just on fire. Even, the potential of Nico Collins coming back this week, what are the Lions going to do? They're just going to shade their coverage over to Nico and then force CJ to use someone else. You're without Stephon Diggs now for the rest of the year. You got Tank, but how much can Tank really do? The Lions, they've just been impressive. Jared Goff is the most efficient, horrible quarterback in the league. He's not really doing much because he doesn't have to. Their run game has been incredible between Montgomery and Gibbs. Gibbs broke off another long one last week. Not much I could say. The Texans, they're struggling right now. They got Joe Mixon, and he's been doing very well this season. But CJ Stroud, that Ohio State quarterback in him, is finally coming out this year. I'm going to take the Lions, and I'm going to take the points. Of course, this may be the week that Jared Goff falls apart, but let's hope not.
The Lions are probably right now the favorites to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. And Jared Goff really hasn't done a whole lot. Like you said, he doesn't have to. The running game and like the little passes out of the backfield and everything, Gibbs and Montgomery you got back there. You got Laporta. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown who's standing on his head in the end zone. Him and Drake London. Yeah. And then the Texans, on the other hand, man, since Nico Collins went down and Stephon Diggs, they didn't look good at all against that game against the Jets. No. I like Detroit to win this one. I like Detroit to cover this one. I think Houston's trending down. Like you said, they got Joe Mixon. He's played pretty decent, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Lions have too many weapons. Zadarius Smith will probably suit up and play in his first game for the Lions to help him out on that side of the ball. Give me Detroit in this one, and I like him to cover. The final matchup of the week, the Monday night matchup, the Miami Dolphins travel to L.A. to face the L.A. Rams. The Rams are a 1-point favorite. Gage, what do you think?
I enjoyed the game last week with the Rams, sending it to overtime. Who was it they were playing against? It was the Seahawks. Seahawks they get stuffed on 4th and 1 in overtime in the opening drive. And it's like, all right, Stafford just got game in the field goal position. That's all they got to do. And then there goes Demarcus Robinson's second touchdown of the game. He might have just scored another one as I was talking. I don't really know. But yeah, the defense didn't look the best. You let up a lot to Jackson Smith and Jigba, who, by the way, the only reason he went off is because I had to drop him to pick up another kicker because Chris Boswell was on a bye week. So you're welcome if you had him in your starting lineup. I think this was the first game that Kyron Williams did not score a touchdown. So I'm kind of thinking he'll get maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns this week. Dolphins, they were my upset pick of the week last week. Lost it on a buzzer beating field goal. And overall, you can just see the difference between a Tua-led Dolphins team and an anybody else led Dolphins team. Even in the running game, it's incredible just what they're able to do. I don't think they're going to be able to do it enough this week. I think the Rams just a little bit better. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, as long as Puka doesn't get suspended after being ejected last week.
Let's not punch you in the face this time.
With your hand as the guy's wearing a helmet. Yeah, that's real smart.
Yeah. I always wonder what these guys think. Punching a guy with a helmet with your bare hands. Never the smartest move.
Never the smartest move. And I'm surprised it never comes out that the person that did the punch broke their hand. Because I got a feeling if I went boom to someone wearing a helmet, I'm probably going to break at least a finger, maybe more than just that.
Yeah, the bones are going to get broken.
With that said, give me the Rams, give me the points. I think it's going to be a good game. And speaking of ejections, didn't even mention the Brian Branch ejection for the Lions last week.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know really how. Yeah, I don't know how he was really ejected. Apparently, neither did Tom Brady, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know how he was ejected either, but I do know why Puka was ejected. That was just not smart. Puka, like the first week he come back, like he gets all these catches and targets, and he plays like a half here, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not getting targets. I'm just going to punch somebody right in the face mask. If you're going to do that, at least take somebody's helmet off and slam it on their head, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. Yeah.
But the Rams. It's funny you mentioned like Tua. It's funny what a Dolphins team looks like with a Tua-led, a quarterback compared to when he's not out there quarterbacking. The Rams, on the other hand, it's funny what they look like when they've got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua in the lineup instead of Tutu Atwell as your main target or Demarcus Robinson, who played good last week. Cooper Kupp had like 11 catches last week. The week before, Puka had, 12. Stafford likes it when those guys are back there. Kyron Williams didn't have a touchdown, like you said, for the first time in forever. I think he gets back on track this week. I think this is actually going to be a good game. I think Tyreek Hill gets in the end zone for the first time in a while this week. And I think that the Miami Dolphins go into L.A. and fall to the Rams. Give me the Rams in this one. I like the Rams to cover that 1-point spread. Yeah, give me LA in this one. They're on a roll, and I think it continues.
You had me in the first half with that one. Really thought you were going Miami. Wow. Good one. Gotta give you that one.
It's close. It's close. I think it's going to be a good game, though. I think it's going to be close. Like I said, Tyreek has got like 1 touchdown this year. He's going to get his second this week, I believe.
Second, maybe a third.
Maybe a third. The bye week teams, the teams on bye this week, something like that. The Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks. The only one of them teams right there are Packers maybe, but the Packers didn't look so good last week. Yeah.
Doesn't really feel like we're missing much from any of those 4 this week.
No, not at all. Yeah, that is all the games this week.
Yeah.
Man, I'm excited for it.
I am too. I think there's a lot of games that are going to be just really good.
Yeah. And it starts all tomorrow night with the Bengals and the Ravens. That's going to be a good one. Your Steelers and the Commanders on Sunday. That's going to be a good one. I was going to say the Sunday night game looks like it could be a good one, but I mean, it's got a chance to be, but I just don't think it's going to be. I think Detroit's going to win that one pretty handily.
And then you're missing the best game of the week, the Germany matchup between the Giants and the Panthers. I don't know how you could forget that one.
Silly me. I completely blew right over that one. That's on me right there. Game of the week right there. Germany.
Ah,
You're welcome, Germany.
yeah. You want us over there more often? Sure.
Yeah. Just wait till we give you Titans Browns next year. Yeah.
Oh man, will it be a Deshaun Watson led Browns team though?
Oh yeah, it'll have to be. They got to pay him still.
Yeah. I know they did say the head coach said the other day that they weren't committing to Deshaun for the future. So that was interesting considering first few games of the season they were like, "Oh yeah, he's the guy." Oh, I know we're 1-4 or whatever, but
Well, I'd say the head coach is saying that because he's probably like, "Hey, if I keep riding with this guy, I'm losing my job."
yeah, yeah.
Did you not see what we did last year with Flacco when he was in here? Come on, man. Oh man. Well, that will do it for this week's podcast. Did the Dodgers win when we was on here last week, or did that happen afterwards? I think it happened afterwards.
I believe that happened after we stopped that episode.
Yes, Dodgers with a big fifth inning, won the World Series. I seen online they said Aaron Judge was going to be at Times Square this year to drop the ball. I thought that was great.
I saw MLB Instagram posted a thing for election day. And someone put Garrett Cole was supposed to work the polls, but he forgot to cover a shift. So
So Garrett Cole, I guess the other day opted out of his contract, and I guess he was wanting an extension, and Cashman was like, "No," and he's like, "Well, what if you just give me like $1 million more?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Well, what if I just say that I resigned?" And he's like, "Okay." So he's like, "Yeah, we'll act like you never opted out, buddy."
yeah,
It's never happened.
like I was excited to see Cole hit free agency, see what team went after him. Maybe he came back to Pittsburgh. Yeah, that definitely would happen.
Yeah.
But big players in free agency this year between Juan Soto and Corbin Burns. There's going to be a lot of money thrown around.
What Juan Soto think he's going to end up in LA?
Yeah, and Nas an Angel.
Yeah, Nas an Angel. Yeah, why would anybody do that to themselves? Why does Mike Trout still do that to himself?
Oh God, yeah, I could see him going either to the Dodgers or going back to San Diego. He did not do horrible in San Diego. It actually did really well for him. So I could see him going back there. But if he wants that ring, go ring chasing, go to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, he's still young and everything, so I mean, somebody's going to give him a huge contract,
Oh yeah.
like to play for him. So and it's probably going to be one of them bigger market teams. He's definitely not going back to Washington where he started
No.
because they're not going to pay that. But yeah,
maybe he comes to Pittsburgh. Maybe Bob Nutting's like, you know what? Here you go. Here's the check. $1 billion to come play for 10 years.
And what you do is you do what LA did. You defer it all for the end of his contract, and then you sell the team before you have to pay that. And like, hey, here's what you inherit, new owner. Good luck.
Oh, yeah. Have fun paying this off. You're going to do real good.
Oh, man. And with that being said, we will see you all next week here on the pod.
Later.